Hi everyone, welcome back to another video in the Web Security Academy series. In today's video, we'll be covering lab number 21 in the cross-site scripting module titled Reflected XSS into a JavaScript string with single quote and backslash escaped. If you do not have an account on the Web Security Academy, you can get one by visiting the URL portswigger.net/websecurity and clicking on the sign up button. I already have an account and I am logged in, so to access the exercise, I'm going to click on Academy. Select all labs, do a search on cross-site scripting labs, and go to lab number 21, titled Reflected XSS into a JavaScript string with single quote and backslash escaped. Alright, let's get started. This lab contains a reflected cross-site scripting vulnerability in the search query tracking functionality. The reflection occurs inside a JavaScript string with single quotes and backslashes escaped. To solve this lab, perform a cross-site scripting attack that breaks out of the JavaScript string and calls the alert function. Alright, so our target goal over here is to perform an XSS attack that calls the alert function. Let's access the lab. Now notice over here, this is the built-in browser in Burp, and so all my requests are already being passed in my Burp proxy. I am using the professional version of Burp. However, to complete the lab, you could perform everything that I'm performing just in the browser or in the community edition of Burp. Alright, so as usual, the first thing that I do when I'm looking for cross-site scripting vulnerabilities is I look for client-supplied input that is reflected back in the application. So in the search functionality over here, I'm going to add a random string, hit search, and notice that there is reflected input. We need to confirm that this is the only instance of reflected input. So I'm going to right click and view page source and do a search on test. Now notice over here, there are two places where the input is reflected. The first one is the heading, which we saw on the page. And then the second one is in the script tag. So this is interesting. Now, both these places need to be tested for cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. What I'm going to do first is see if the application allows the script tag. So click search. And if we view the page source right over here, you could see that in the heading element, the less than and greater than sign are URL encoded. However, in the script tag, they're not URL encoded. And so right now, my target is going to be the script tag instead of the heading tag, because likely the heading tag does have proper URL encoding. So for this one over here, you could see it's in a string for the variable search terms. So the first thing I'm going to try is to break out of that string using a single quote. So let's do that directly in the URL. Let's just say single quote. Hit enter. Let's go down. And you could see over here that single quote is being escaped. So I might not be able to use the single quote. The next thing that I'm going to try to do is just immediately break out of the script tag itself. So let's do that. So let's remove this over here and just say /script, hit enter, and see how it's interpreted. So if we go down over here, you could see that it's interpreted as code. So this is a really good sign. That means I've broken out of the script tag, and now I could just add my own exploit, and it'll be a really simple one. So this was us breaking out of the script tag, and now we could just add a new script saying alert1 and close off our script. And this should work. So let's copy this, paste it in here, click on search, and we get presented with the alert functionality. Click on OK, and we get the congratulations, you solved the lab message. Alright, so we successfully completed the exercise by exploiting the reflected XSS vulnerability. In the next lab, we'll look at another case of a cross-site scripting vulnerability.